Hello, everybody. Most of you guys know me, but if you don't, my name is Matt Stoverl. I teach economics and social studies department, and I am making a Zoom video to go over how we post our assignments to Canvas, but more importantly, how we sync those assignments to Skyward. This is a requirement by the district. And I know it's not something we're all ready to do or capable of doing. There's a lot of little steps involved. Mr. Crump and I were playing around with this a few days ago, trying to make sure we got it. And after figuring it out and working it out, I thought with other people needing help, I would make a video that you guys could watch, and hopefully this helps, and just go over some basics to get your grades lined up, because we don't want to have to do all this redundant work. So if you're going to start giving your kids assignments and start grading your kids assignments, let's use Canvas to do that, and then sync it to Skyward, and we'll all start moving in the right direction. So I have my home page here, and you can see this. So what I'm going to do is add an assignment. You can see on the with all the choices over here on the left, the ones in the dark mean the kids can read them. The ones that are kind of faded mean you see them, but the kids don't see them. And so I'm going to go down here to where it says assignments. I'm going to click on assignments. This will take you to all your assignments. Now, the first confusion that a lot of people have is they say, well, I give assignments, I give quizzes, I give tests. And the way I look at it is this way: if you are grading something, and it's going to go in a grade book, it's an assignment. I don't care if it's a quiz, I don't care if it's a test, I don't care if it is a daily grade. If you are going to put a grade in a grade book, it's an assignment. If you look at my assignment sheet, you can see online discussions. Here's another online assignment. We scroll down, here's a quiz, and more online discussions. And then I can even go down here, and here are my unit tests. Now, the unit tests are not done online. These are done on paper, and I'll talk about those with you in a little bit. But notice, these are my unit tests. I got unit tests here, assignments, online discussions, and I have, even quizzes. Practice tests and quizzes, and it doesn't matter what it is. If you're grading it and you're putting a grade in a grade book, it's an assignment. What Canvas will do is populate, when you make something, it'll populate it in multiple areas. So this supply and demand quiz is under my assignments categories. You can see over here, I'm under assignments. There's my quiz, right? Notice that when I go to quizzes right above assignments, I click on quiz, my quizzes, and there's that supply and demand quiz again. So it's populating in the quiz section, and it's also populating in the assignment section. Now, I didn't create it in the quiz section. I created it in the assignment section, all right? And understand that if you're going to do a quiz and you want to label it quiz and you're going to submit a quiz, when you put quiz down in Canvas, it's an online quiz that you created through Canvas and is going to be done and submitted online. If you're just giving a paper quiz that you've been giving for the last 10 years in your class, don't put that down under quizzes. That's not a quiz if it's on paper. The quiz category over here for Canvas is for online quizzes only that you created in Canvas. If it's a paper quiz you give in class, it's an assignment. Don't put it under quizzes. Canvas won't recognize it, okay? It's got to be under assignments. Anything you graded, discussions, assignments, DBQs, binder checks, again, quizzes, major tests, unit tests, which will be on paper. It's all graded, so it all falls under the big umbrella of assignments. And I'm doing it, explaining this the way I explain it, and maybe someone's going to say this isn't how they do it. I don't know. This is working for me very well, and so I thought I would share it. If you don't like it, seriously, turn me off at any time. It won't hurt my feelings. So let's make an assignment. So I'm going to go to assignments. Now, the big thing with syncing Canvas to Skyward is to make sure that your categories are the exact same in percentage and weight, and exact same in how you spell it and say it. When you go to Skyward and you see a category for minor grades, it says minor grades with a capital M and a capital G. So when I put minor grades in for my group, I need to make sure it's capital M, capital G with a space. Let's say I just put MIN that's supposed to represent minor. Skyward's not going to pick that up because, you know, you're not talking to a human being, it's computers talking to computers, and this has to be the same. Skyward has to recognize this category as well. Now, how do you make a category if you've never done this before? So I have minor grades and I have major grades, but let's say I want to add another grade. Whoop, sorry about that, everybody. So let's say I want to add another grade, or another group, another category. Canvas doesn't call them categories, they call them groups. So I'm going to hit add group, and let's say I'm going to put daily work. Okay, so I do daily work, and I'm going to hit save. All right, so now I have minor grades, I have major grades, and now I just created another assignment group down here, or category. If I want to weight the categories for the first time, or if I want to change these weights, now right now it's equal 100, you go up here to these three dots right here, click on those three dots, and it says assignment group weights. All right, now, and that's going to take you here. Now, if this box isn't checked, okay, so let me go back. So I uncheck that box. So if I come into these three dots and I click on this, and it's these little things that can get you, you have to make sure this box is checked. If the box is not checked, you are not going to see these categories. So you got to make sure that box is checked, right? And now I go in here and play. And this is where I can change my categories if I wanted to, right? Make it, I could do 30. I'm going to say I'm going to change this to 60. And I'm going to change this to 10 so that it equals 100%. Now, if this is what my categories look like in Canvas, in Skyward, it needs to looks exactly the same exact spellings, and it has to have the same exact weight. All right? And that's how you get your categories in Canvas, and that's how you get your different weights. Now, I'm going to cancel this because I don't really want to keep it. This is my actual class, so I don't want to mess this up. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel, and I don't want daily grade, so I'm going to come over here to these three dots. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to delete this category and get rid of it. Okay, so now I'm back to my major and minor grades. So that's how you create your groups and use these three dots over here to create your assignment weights, okay, your percentages for each category. So let's create an assignment. So when I create an assignment, some people tell you to click that button. I actually don't do that. And I guess I'm teaching you my way. I don't know if it's the way you want to do it. There's, I think, probably several ways to do this. I can only teach you my way. So I don't click this button. I'm going to come down to major grades, and I'm going to do a demo test just for demonstration purposes. My kids at home tonight may freak out seeing new grades pop up on their calendar, but it'll only be temporary. So I'll get rid of it in about a half hour. So what I'm going to do for major grades is I'm going to hit this plus. I like to add my assignments through the category. So again, for me personally, I don't do this. I don't do that. I come down here to whatever category I'm adding it to, and I'll click this plus here. And this is where people get screwed up. You do not, if it's a paper test, and I'm going to say that this is a paper test, I don't want to change this. I'm going to keep that as assignment. So if you're going to do most of your or all of your assignments and turn-ins on paper, your quiz, your traditional assignments, your packets, your quizzes, your tests, and it's going to be submitted in class on paper, don't ever change the type. Even if it's a quiz in class, don't change your type to quiz. Do not do this. Do not click that. If you click that, and it's a paper quiz in your class, you're going to cause a lot of trouble. This is a quiz. If you choose this quiz for your type, it has to be a created online quiz through Canvas. All right, since it's a paper quiz or paper test or paper assignment, I want assignment. Okay, don't touch assignment if you're doing things on paper. All right, now I'm going to name it demo test. Okay, and when I do my due dates, I click on the calendar. I'm going to make it due Wednesday, August 28th. All right, and I don't really, if it's a paper test that you're doing in class, don't worry about time. Time doesn't matter. Time is more for online submissions, not doing things in class on paper. The next thing I do is need to make it worth 100 points because it's a test. And now I have it. And I can hit save and publish, or I can go to more options. All right, so you could just do this right now. If you want more options, you click over here, and it's going to take you to that assignment page you're used to seeing. It's just more detailed than what I did. So here's where it's the description of the assignment. And if I'm giving a paper quiz or a paper test or a paper assignment in class that's due, I will write a little message. I'll say this demo test will be done on paper in class. Okay, that's all I'm doing. Just to kind of remind if the kids, if they look it up, the description, that they know, hey, this, because when they go to calendar, they can click on your assignments and get more details, and this description will come up when they click on it, and that's telling them this test will be done on paper in class. This is not an online test. Scroll down here, 100 points. It is a major grade. If it's out of 100, it's really kind of irrelevant if you're going to do points or percentage. I do points. Submission type, no submission. This is for online submissions. I don't worry about it. You could, since it's paper, if you wanted to, you could do paper. I could do that. No submission is fine as well. So if it's paper assignment, you could do just leave it as no submission or do on paper. It's not a group. It's not going to have peer reviews. You have to, now this is the big button now. We need it synced to SIS. This is what's going to help you make it possible for you to sync it to Skyward. It's important you understand that this doesn't sync it to Skyward automatically, but now you have given this assignment the ability to be synced. So you want to make sure that one is checked. I'm going to assign it to everybody. All right. And then here's the due date. I don't really worry about when it's available. I used to. Now I've learned I can just leave these blank and it doesn't change anything. So I'm going to save and publish down here and click that. And now I come back over here and I want to click assignments to take me back to my assignments page. And you'll see, you should see, if I scroll to the bottom, you should see the demo test. All right. And there it is. Now, let's look over here. You see these squares. This is pretty important. Some of you know this. First of all, if it's not published, the students can't see it. I don't care if my students can see stuff or not. So I have like one thing that's not published. If it's published, the kids can see it. All right. So that's what that green check means. Now, what are these squares? Now, right now, or these little circles, right now, take this Third World Sweatshops DBQ. See how that's black? Because that's black, even if I try to sync it, to Skyward, it will not sync because this is not green. All of these assignments have already been synced to Skyward, and you can see the green circles versus the square circles. So how do you do it? Well, if it's black and you want to sync it, just click it. Once it goes from black to green, it's now you now have the ability to sync it to Skyward. Doesn't mean it's synced. It just means you now have given this assignment the ability to be synced to Skyward. So I'm going to keep that, and I'm not going to mess with that. So I'm going to go down to demo, and it is green, so I'm good. So these cannot be synced right now. I'll sync those when I'm ready to sync them. So I'm going to go here. It's green. I'm all set up. So I've created the assignment. You can't sync anything without a due date either. There has to be a due date. It will not populate to your calendar without a due date, and it will not be able to be synced to Skyward without a due date. So I couldn't do my Unit 6 test. There's no due date. I couldn't do my Unit 5 test. There's no due date. But look at the demo test. I can do an August 20. There is a due date there in August 28th. I can now sync this if I want to. So now let's take the next step. After you create your assignment, you go up to grades over here. I click to grades, and that's going to take me to this sheet. Now, in the grading sheet, you're saying, well, I don't see it. Well, you got to scroll from left to right. And so as I scroll, these are all minor grades at this point. These are all minor grades. And I keep scrolling, keep scrolling. And after I get through all my minor grades, now I'm in the major grades. There's my Unit 1 test. Keep scrolling, Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4, Unit 5. There's my demo test. The reason it's down here is it's a major grade, so it's in the major grade area. Just keep that in mind that minor grades start left as you scroll left to right. When you're done with your minor grades, the further you go right, you'll start getting into your major grades. If I keep scrolling, it gets it down into my actual minor category, my major category, and my semester final eventually. So my demo test did automatically. I didn't do anything. When I made the demo test in my assignment page, it automatically populated to my gradebook, and it automatically populated to all of my sections. I don't care what section I pick, that demo test is still there. It's there for all the sections, okay? Doesn't matter. I'm gonna go back to all sections, which is all my students in all 3 of my class periods, okay? So now I created this demo test. The other thing, when you're syncing to Skyward, you don't have to have it graded yet. I haven't put a grade in. As you can see, demo test has not been graded yet, but I still can pop it over to Skyward. It's just not going to have grades underneath it. I've already created my categories in Skyward. The categories are spelt out exactly the same as I spelt them in Canvas. The percentages and weight of each category is exactly the same, and so we're ready to go. So now what I want to do, and the other thing to keep in mind, when you sync your grades to Skyward, you're not just syncing the demo test. When I go to sync, it's going to basically take my entire grade book from Canvas and bring the whole thing over to Skyward and sync it up all at once, okay? It's not just syncing demo. It will resync your whole Canvas gradebook, okay? So I come here and I go to Actions. Now this is something, I gotta give credit to Mr. Crump. I did not find this button. This was and I couldn't figure out why was my stuff not syncing to Skyward. And Mr. Crump found this button over here called Actions. So I click on Actions, and then it says Sync to Skyward in Post Grades. That's what I'm gonna click. Now, you see it's gonna say Fetching Assignments, okay? All right, so I'm gonna exclude, all right, so what I did is I'm gonna exclude this. See how it says due date missing? Again, if you don't have a due date, it can't sync it, and it can't populate it to your calendar either. So I'm just gonna exclude that for now. Yes, exclude, not a big deal. Exclude from posting. Now, excluding from posting does not mean it left my Canvas gradebook. It has not left my Canvas gradebook. This assignment still exists in my Canvas gradebook. It just means until I put a due date in, I can't sync it to Skyward. That's all this means, all right? Now let's scroll down. There's my demo test. But notice how it's reposting all of these other assignments at the same time. Why is it doing that? If those assignments have that green circle, we talk about that little green circle next to the assignment on the right, if there's a green circle there, it's gonna post it every time, any change you make. So it's gonna redo this. So I'm looking for this demo test. I'm gonna hit continue. So I just kind of wait. It's posting. It's not just posting a demo test at this point. It's reposting my entire Canvas gradebook. Okay. Success. We have received your request to post grades. After the grades are processed, you should see them in your SIS gradebook. Now, notice this phrase, after the grades are processed. This is not an instantaneous thing. The more grades you have in Canvas, the more assignments you have in Canvas, my experience is this syncing process takes a little more time. It may take 30 seconds instead of instantaneous. And I think as we get going, it may take 1 minute or 2 minutes. But so it takes a little time. But let's close this out and let's go ahead and look at Skyward. And so again, what did we do? We did the demo test. I have not been in Skyward yet, right? Outside of setting up my categories. But I synced it to Skyward, so let's see what we got. So I'm gonna go to Skyward, and if you guys know how to do this, yeah. In the Skyward, I don't know my password. Of course that would happen when I'm doing the video for you guys. I'm surprised some other disaster hasn't happened yet, although the video's not done yet. So I'm going to go to Gradebook, go to my current classes. All right, so I'm going to click on Gradebook. Now, before I made this video, that demo test wasn't on my Gradebook. Do you see it right there, guys? There it is. I did not put that into Skyward. That was synced into Skyward. I did not enter any of these minor grades. I entered none of these. I did not enter this demo grade. I did all of this stuff on Canvas. I got the green circle next to the assignment. It was ready to be synced. When I was ready to sync it, I went and I clicked that sync button, and it synced all my minor grades and put them into Skyward for me. And that's how it works. What I would suggest is here's what I've told the teachers I've helped, that I'm going to do all my grading all day long in school on Canvas. And then at night or after school or whenever you decide to designate it, I'm only going to sync my grades once a day. I'm going to do it every day, but I'm going to sync my grades once a day. That's it. And so I will tell my students, if you want to see updated grades, let's say it's fourth period and a kid wants to check how he did on a quiz. I'm going to tell my students, don't check Skyward. Check Canvas, and it will be in Canvas. And at night, before I go to bed, I'm going to sync up my gradebook from Canvas to Skyward, and Skyward will be completely populated correctly by morning. And I'm just going to make sure every morning Skyward is current. But I'm not going to keep syncing stuff 10 times a day. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to do all my business on Canvas, and then once a day I sync. And every single change I made in Canvas all at once will upload to Skyward for that day all at once. Okay? Let me show you how it works. As you can see right now, I have no grades in here. So I'm going to go back to Canvas now. So I'm back to here. So Caitlin might get a notification. So since the kids are in Canvas, when I put a grade in for Caitlin, and here's a cool thing about SpeedGrader. So if I'm going to do a demo test, I'm going to go to Caitlin. I'm going to click on demo. You see that SpeedGrader right there? I'm going to click on that SpeedGrader. All right. And there's no submission because it's an online, it's a paper test that was done in class. I can put the grade there. I don't have to use SpeedGrader, but I could give her 90. I could give her feedback right here. I like this. I could type my feedback like, did well, but struggled on concept 2, just for something generic. I could also see this button right here. I could also do a video where she could actually watch a video of me talking to her, giving her feedback on the assignment. Or I could do this, and this is the voice to text where this is a microphone. I click this and I talk, and it will type out what I say, and then I can hit submit. Now, you see the 90, you see the concept, and I'm going to hit submit. Now, what this is going to do is this is going to send a notification to this student letting her know that the demo test was graded. So if Caitlin's up right now, she's probably figuring, what the heck just happened? I got a 90 out of 100 on a test I didn't know existed. But she's going to get a notification. That notification is going to say this assignment was graded and that Mr. Stobro left the concept or feedback for her to read. So it'll send it to her on her phone, on her iPad, through, she'll be able to get it. For this purpose, I'm not trying to sell you on online submissions. I'm not trying to sell you on SpeedGrader. What I am trying to do is to show you that I put a grade in of 90, right? And an assignment. So I'm going to get out of SpeedGrader here. All right, so now I'm going to go back to grades. And what you're going to see under grades is under Caitlin. I think that's her name. Yeah, Caitlin. So so it went back to minor. So I got to scroll. I got to scroll all the way down to minor. So there's Caitlin. I put the grade in the SpeedGrader and it populated that 90 here. Now my mistake was people thought, oh, so since the demo test this is a big mistake. So they think the demo test, this is what I thought, until Mr. Crump found that other button. When I thought I had demos synced to Skyward, I thought when I put that 90 in Canvas, it automatically populated in Skyward. That's not true. None of your changes are going to enter Skyward until you tell it to. So I'll be making all my changes in Canvas throughout the day. When I'm ready, I'm going to hit, now that I've made a change, because that 90 wasn't there, I've made my changes. It's now the end of the day. I go back to action. I sync to Skyward, post grades. Now notice it's not just fetching the demo test. It's fetching everything with a green circle, okay? I'm going to exclude that again. Yes, I'm not excluding it. I'm not going to post it right now. Hit continue. It's going to all my sections. Come on. Here it comes. All right, so there's success. All right. So notice I haven't put any grades in Skyward. So now I'm going to go to Skyward and get out of there. I'm going to go to Skyward. And I'm going to go get in here again. Go to Gradebook. And let's see if Caitlin's grade is in. And there's Caitlin. It is not in yet. All right. You're saying, well, what? You just synced it, Stobro. Where's that 90? It takes a few minutes. All right. And if I come back in 2 minutes, it'll be there. So I figured it would do this tonight. We'll see if it pops up. All right, so what I did is I refreshed up here. Now there's Caitlin's 90 under the demo test in Skyward. And as you guys know, I did not go into Skyward. I did not type that in. I put it in SpeedGrader. SpeedGrader put it in Canvas automatically. And then when I synced it to Skyward, it plugged it into Skyward automatically. So that's how you do it. I hope this helped, and good luck. If you need any help, though, I know there are several teachers in the building that know how to do this. Just seek them out, and I'll be happy to help, and I know probably a lot of them will be ready to help you as well. But hopefully with this video it works. So I'm going to end everything here. And have a good night, everybody, and I hope this helped. And have a good week, rest of the week, and a good weekend.